Hollywood brought the ghost-busting profession fame, but it's not as glamorous as you may think. The study of ghosts has now become an exact science. With me now is Dr. Michaeleen Maher and Loyd Auerbach. Both are parapsychologists. Loyd has written a book called ESP, Hauntings and Poltergeists. And may I welcome both of you very much.
Thank you.
Are there ghosts?
I believe so. People have been reporting these things for many centuries. In fact, there's a report of a Chinese ghost that goes back to 30 BC. Perfectly sane, normal people seem to experience these phenomena, so why should we think that there are no such things?
And millions of people all over the world have had these experiences, even in recent times.
But now we have three ladies sitting here on the couch that have all told the sweetest stories. If I had a ghost that was going to help me find a bracelet, unlock a door when Melissa came home from school and couldn't get in, every family would want the ghost. Are all ghosts so nice?
Generally, ghosts behave like people. If they really were the people they say they were during life, they behave like those people after death. Ghosts basically are people. They don't act like they did in the Amityville Horror or the Entity, things like that. They act more like the ghosts in Topper.
But can a ghost like the Amityville Horror be around? Have you come across those kind of ghosts?
That particular case was a hoax, as it happens. But in many of those instances, we find that people are overlaying some of their imagination because of the Hollywood films they've seen on top of very, very minor events that might be psychic.
I don't think we know enough about ghosts to know whether that there are malevolent ghosts, and there very well may be. I think that we need to study these things. We need to study them very carefully, to scrutinize the evidence, to talk to the people, to study the personalities of the people that experience ghosts.
Now, Jeannie said she got rid of her ghost.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How did you get rid of your ghost?
I called in some friends and said, you guys say you know how to do it, do it. I don't want to be around. They said that these people didn't know that they were trapped in this plane, and I wasn't going to be the one to tell them. So I called in the professionals.
And it worked?
Yes.
Can you get rid of ghosts?
Absolutely. We work in California mainly with people who want to get rid of their ghosts. It's refreshing to hear people who like having their ghosts around from time to time. Yeah. And you can do everything from playing heavy metal music if you don't think the ghost is going to like it, to telling very bad jokes to bore them out of the house.
Now, we have, well, in that case, I have nothing to worry about. We have, with us today, we have a gentleman who is a tremendous skeptic, and he has done how many, Mr. Ford Cross, you have done how many investigations in your lifetime?
Close to 200 in the last 5 years, more than that over a longer period of time. And I'm not like Will Rogers, who never met a man he didn't like. I never met a ghost who liked me enough to show himself to me.
What have been some of the cases they've called you in that you've proven that this is a natural occurrence?
Sometimes it's not possible to prove with situations like these three ladies have. I did an investigation in Caldwell, New Jersey a couple of years ago, and people heard strange music in the house. And I walked into the house, and we went around, and we spent time, and the music would come and it would go. Ethereal music, as they described it. And sure enough, I started to hear music.
You talk about skeptics. Red Book magazine did an article, and as they were researching this, they were looking for Thankful's picture. They went down the New York Library, and you give the person the ticket to bring you the book, walked over to a table to wait, and on the table was the Knapp genealogy open to Thankful's picture. The fella came back to them and say, we can't explain it. The book isn't out, but we can't find it. And they told me that they began this as skeptics, but that scared the heck out of them.
What's difficult in these cases is trying to realize that in a lot of cases the investigators go in and we don't experience something. All we have to work with are the subjective impressions of the people themselves.
What I found was a portable radio stuck between the walls.
Right. And in all
a dead
cases,
battery that would kick on and kick off. It was dead, not
I think we have to be sure, first of all, whether we are dealing with a ghost or whether we're dealing with a hyperactive imagination or perhaps somebody who has some reason to try to
I give suggestibility profiles to all the people who claim that their house is haunted. And I find a high correlation between high suggestibility and high incidence of manifestations of ghosts.
We also
come back to discuss a little more of this in just a second. Let's go to a commercial, and we'll be back, and we'll also take audience questions so everyone starts thinking. Don't go anywhere. We have some questions from the audience.
I was wondering, did you always believe in ghosts back to when you were a child, or did that develop as soon as you moved in and found you were living with them?
Now, this is for the ladies now, and the Ghostbusters, both. Did you all believe in ghosts?
I didn't.
I don't think I thought about it.
Seeing is believing.
And I'm not sure that they exist yet.
I'm still not positive either. We have to be very careful and very scientific when we investigate these things. We have to rule out any sort of normal explanations because this is very exciting territory. It's new territory that we're trying to open up. We're trying to find out what is the nature of the universe. Do these things really happen? Do they exist? And we have to be very cautious in our interpretation of our findings.
It's very important to look at the evidence, and unfortunately the evidence is just very suggestive that there are these things. There's no way to, like in Ghostbusters, take a little device and see if there's something there.
Well, I'd like to make a There've got to be some things that you just say, we cannot explain this away any other way.
Exactly.
Here's my ring, here's my bracelet, but the door is unlocked, the door is open.
I'd like to make a comment to our skeptic who said that he thought maybe because we were susceptible, we thought that we were going to see them and therefore we saw them. I think that works the other way also. If you believe you're not going to see one could be sitting next to you, you wouldn't see it. It works both ways.
Sports psychologists have worked with the idea that belief is very important for an athlete, and it is very important in ESP performance as well, in the experimentation. You can't doubt that you can do something and expect to be able to do or see something.
What about poltergeists?
Poltergeists are a little different.
Are they the same as ghosts?
No, typically we look at poltergeists as being a situation where someone in the house is undergoing stress. Physical objects are moving around or other physical things are happening that are often observed by many people, including sometimes the investigators. And it's an ability called psychokinesis, mind over matter. We're subconsciously throwing off steam, having a psychic temper tantrum, if you want to call it that.
We have a question.
Yes, I'd like to know if you ever had a problem being intimate with your spouse, knowing that somebody else might be watching?
I've heard that before. That has been reported in a number of cases. And in fact, a skeptic investigator dealt with one of those cases. A man came into his office. The man was a psychotherapist. The skeptic did not believe in ghosts at all. The psychotherapist, the skeptic, was asking the gentleman what was going on. The man said his mother-in-law was bothering them, especially during sex. And he said, the skeptic said, is she here? And he said, yeah, she follows me around. She's in the corner. The skeptic jumped up, walked over to the corner, started cussing out the ghost. The man was pale. He said, she's gone. And the skeptic said, she'll never come back. And in fact, she didn't. So the skeptic who didn't believe in ghosts got rid of the ghost. And that means we don't know if there really was a ghost there.
A lot of cases could be combinations also of people's hypersuggestibility, their sensitivity perhaps, their psychic sensitivity, and also we have cases that are combinations of poltergeist phenomena and also of ghost phenomena or apparitional phenomena.
Every event must be looked at very carefully because even if you see a ghost, you hear a noise the next day, you think it's the ghost because you saw a ghost, but it might just be the house settling.
I thank all of you very much. I thank you very much for coming here. I wish you all a very happy Halloween, and I am going home keeping every light on in my house tonight. Thank you all so much.